Hello, and welcome back to our series ranking Coldplay, all the songs except for a few filler transition type songs. Um, 107 songs. We're over halfway there now. Well, we were as of end of last video. I didn't really think about that, but now we're at 50. We're in the top 50. And given this is a band that has 10 albums, we're talking about songs that, roughly speaking, are in the top five-ish on the album. So we're getting into the top half of songs. Um, let's go ahead and just jump right into it, though. So at number 50, we have the song Low on X and Y. And this one could have been a little bit lower, no pun intended. Um, I had a hard time placing it. It is one of Guy's best bass songs on this album, probably. Not like probably wouldn't make like top five or top maybe top 10, I don't know, of his work with the band, but on this album it stands out. Um there's some really interesting guitar stuff at like the 2-ish minute mark where they have like a down moment before they build back up to the next verse, like after the first verse chorus, section. Um some interesting work with like uh keyboard work and synth type sounds. Chris is singing like right in the pocket, and so I his voice sounds good. The second verse when he like, gets into like those like falsetto like dips and dives, that's probably my favorite part up until that moment, which is about 2.5 minutes in, and then the next chorus happens, which is is good still. I mean, it's still good. This is like nothing in here is bad. Um, and part of why I had a hard time placing this song is like just everything up until about the 4 minute mark would probably be on the last episode, or maybe even the episode before. So like 70s, 60, like 60s or 50s, and it's at 50. Um, but the second chorus has like it finishes the chorus and then it keeps going and he flips up. That's at like 3.5 minutes. That's like, oh, that's cool. That's neat. You like that. It has different lyrics. It's not like a repeat of the chorus with just him singing it higher. It's like new lyrics. And then um sometimes these songs when they hit the bridge, they'll just fall out and totally collapse. And I love when they do that. I mentioned a lot of those last episode. This song doesn't do that. It's something more unique, and it's my favorite part of the song by a long shot. Basically, almost everything falls away except for the guitar. The guitar is just Johnny's just like hitting these huge chords, and you have Chris singing the falsetto, and he's at the highest part, and it just like keeps the energy mostly up, but yet it does feel like things are falling away. It's a really unique feeling amongst Coldplay songs. I feel like they usually either just a slow build until the end and it falls down at the end, or it's like always the same, or it's a build to the bridge and then it falls at the bridge. And this one's like a build to the bridge and then like just is like a unique way to fall at the bridge, I guess is probably how I'd put it. There's a cool guitar solo in here. It's nothing special. They definitely have a lot better guitar solos than this one in this song, but it just made it to where it's like I really love certain parts about this song. Um, and so it made me like some parts of it are just like, yeah, this is good, but nothing great. And then other parts I was like, that is really unique. It's really great. It's really cool. And so it made it difficult. Um, the song ends with Chris singing the chorus line "Cause I feel low," and he does this like echoey like scream. And then again, it's just that is just like very very unique for Chris Martin and for Coldplay. And so like, but it's a couple of seconds, so it's like, how do you calculate the fact that generally this song is like an above average song? It's a good song. It's not great, and I think that most of the songs that I would say are in that category or in the last two episodes, so in the 60s and 50s. Um, but there's just some things that make it super unique. So let's go ahead and get into 49. We're in the 40s with good feelings. This song actually surprised me where I ended up putting it because when the album first came out, I loved it. I still do love it. Like I'm not being like, oh, this song's terrible now, but I loved it when it first came out. It's just like easy song to dance to and just like bop in the car. The drum intro coming in after you get some background, like, and it's the drum fill going into the full groove of the song, and you just have like the guitar just like there's several songs where Johnny just does a great job of playing like a rhythmic E lead, or he's playing like guitar one, but it has a lot of rhythm to it, and it's just like kind of setting the groove along with the bass and the drums. Where a lot of times the bass and the drums are what you're listening to when if you're moving and grooving. Um, and with Coldplay, especially the last two albums maybe. Um, but I'm sure there are cases before this, but I feel like it's a lot more consistent the last two albums. Um, Johnny has joined the party of like, I'm gonna give you some cool guitar chords to kind of groove to. And the co-singer, the co-lead on this song, Arya Starr, if I'm mispronouncing that, I'm sorry. Really fun, really good. The vocalizations in the chorus, the da 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 da, that stuff. I'm not gonna try to actually sing it. That part is really fun, really good. Um, it skirts the line of being too cheesy, but I don't think it is for me. But it is like on the cheesy side. Um, and the second verse where Arya Star, I tell me something that's pronounced. If I'm wrong again, I apologize. But when she comes in that second verse, I love that. You don't get a lot of that in Coldplay. You do have a few times. You've had Beyonce, we've had Rihanna. I'm sure they're missing some people. Tovlo, we've already covered that. It was from Fun, right? Or maybe it was an Amazing Day. I don't remember now. I think it's Fun. Um, we covered a lot of those songs, but to give several lines of a verse completely to another singer, a female singer, um, it doesn't happen all the time. So it was a pretty cool little moment, and it sounds really good with the song. And her voice fits the song really well to me. Um, and then when the song drops, um, to just Johnny on the guitar, picking and like giving that little. That's what I was talking about. It's kind of like it's like a rhythmic lead. It's like bam 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 bam. I don't want to do any more than that, but I kind of can't help myself. It's so catchy and like fun. George that's the guitar part and it builds back up, back into the drum fill again. And you go back into the key where you have kids singing la 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 la, and you're back into the full swing of the song. And it's just like, okay, this is a fun song. It's a good song. I think it's a really good song. I think it's just a little simple, is kind of all I would say. Like there's nothing critically wrong with it. It's just like it's just really fun. And there are more fun songs that do this kind of thing better to me. That's part of why it's here and not higher. And it's like pretty simple. There's not a lot of depth to it in terms of like what's it giving me? Is it giving me like, a lot of, is it like, because there's like big anthemic, like arena songs, and this isn't really that. It's not like an opener, but it's a nice little fun song. So I don't know. I really do enjoy it. I'm just trying to like clarify why I wouldn't have it much higher. But when it first came out, I thought it might be higher for me, and it ended up falling here. So I think it's a good spot for it though. But 48, we're gonna get into the song 42. I had a really hard time placing this song. And I'll say like I don't know for sure exactly 100% my album rankings at this point, but if you've been paying close attention, you might have some guesses. And I'll say part of why I had a hard time placing this song, um, this album and this song specifically, but several other songs in this album. There's one more coming up on this episode, and we had one I think last episode, maybe the one before that. It's so well produced. There's a lot going on, and it's not crowded. And if you just listen really carefully and really closely and have the volume, you don't have to have it like cranked. If you just have it up loud enough to where it's like it's full volume basically. Um, there's just a lot happening, and every song on this album lyrically is so good. It's never even remotely cheesy. And I kind of miss that a little bit from Coldplay. It's not like a big criticism because, like I just said, like I love Good Feelings and it's super poppy and I wouldn't fault anyone for saying it is cheesy, just outright cheesy. To me, it's not cheesy. It's not cheesy in a way that bothers me. It's like a fun kind of cheesy. Um, but this songs from this album and this song is a great way to like talk about that to me because it is such a unique song anyways. Like just the opening, those who are dead are not dead, they're just living in my head. And it's like, okay, this is some really good lyric work. And then a minute and a half mark where you have that really unique drum beat come in with at least two guitars. I don't know if it's an acoustic and electric or just two electrics, just some sounds that you don't hear from Coldplay that still feel to me like Coldplay. And I don't know if it's part of it just because this album came out so long ago that it's just like, well, yeah, it feels like Coldplay. But Viva La Vida is the album that really, really got me into Coldplay. Like to where I went to go see them live on this tour. Um, and there's just like so much depth musically, lyrically to this song, and is like my second least favorite song on the album. This is like okay, and like I probably could have put this song even higher. There were several times where I was like, "Am I still not gonna put 42 somewhere?" So I was aware. In my on my notes doc that I have all of the albums with all the songs, and so I can see as I'm ranking songs, like I'm ranking 3 or 4 or 5 songs from Parachutes, and I'm ranking 3 or 4 or 5 songs from Rush of Blood to the Head, and I'm ranking 3 or 4 or 5 6 7 songs from X and Y, and I'm like, I've ranked one song from Viva La Vida or Death and All of His Friends is the full name of the album, but I didn't want to put that down at the bottom down here. So, and I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna do what I think where I'm at right now, and where I'm at right now at least is the like this song and this album is great, and this song specifically to have it has like 3 different parts to it, and it's only a 5-minute song. Like it has the opening little like haunting vocals in the verse, and then it has what like an instrumental breakdown feels very different, but also still fits. And then when they come back in with "You Thought You Might Be a Ghost" part, that like brings it back up and this like more positive feeling and more like major sounding, a major like key sounding. And I'm not sure what the key of the song is. I'm not sure if it goes from minor to major or what, but the first verse has like a minor feel, and that ending is like which is kind of like a chorus, has a more of a major feel, and just like the way that it all comes together so perfectly. um, I love it. I love this song. So I'm gonna move on before I just gush about it for forever. But the next song is gonna be 47. Is gonna be Major Minus from Milo Zoloto. And Major Minus is I talked about several episodes ago at this point. Um, People of the Pride and how it felt like it was Coldplay trying to do Muse. And like I love Muse, so I don't have a problem with that. I enjoy that. I enjoyed that song. But it didn't feel as much like Coldplay. And not that I'm like one of those people that like, oh, they have to sound the same all the time. So I like that they have I like that they don't have necessarily one specific sound and they can kind of do several different kinds of things. And you can argue the last couple albums have been kind of similar in sound, but to me they still have enough variety that I can still enjoy and feel like they don't just sound the same all the time. But this song is one of the more rocky songs they've put out since probably the second album, right? Um, and it feels very much like Coldplay, and it is a very unique song. Like, is that kind of whole like don't trust people, don't trust, and you could imply that it would be the government, like, but again, it's just like it's a really fun song in the writing because it's like a well-written song and the fact that it's not just like a simple black and white love song about like good feelings is it I'm going to use that because I just talked about it, but again, enjoy good feelings immensely. It's a pretty simple love song. It's just like it's just enjoy the good feelings that we have for each other and like just have a good time and love each other. It's great. It's a good message for certain times and certain people. But this song in 42 as well, like I just talked about, has a lot more depth lyrically, and the just like the tone on these chords that Johnny Buckland has during the chorus, it is rock and roll, man. It is, and it's Coldplay's rock and roll. It's not like it doesn't feel like they're emulating someone else's sound. It feels like this is what they wanted to do, rock and roll. And you can still really clearly hear Chris on the acoustic, which I love. I like when bands do like a harder rock. Not this isn't like hard rock, but for Coldplay this is pretty heavy. Um, and so I love it when a band pairs really electric, um, like gainy chords on the electric with the acoustic, and that you can hear them both together really well. That sounds really good to me. And again, this is a song that has the bridge where the bridge everything falls out, and I love it here because it's just like really synthy ambient, um, paddy type like pads like on a keyboard. Um, and then you just have the guitar coming in with like a lead line kind of. It's kind of like again, it's kind of rhythmic. Um, and again, Johnny does a great job. I said it last episode. I'm pretty sure. I just feel like he's underrated, but he's kind of just carrying. this is still like keeping this little beat in the song, even though we're like really quiet and we're just Chris is doing some little vocalizations real quiet. And then that's when you get used to that. He hits this huge like chord with the gain just like through the roof in terms of like what you've heard so far. And then it has a solo, and it's just a really fun solo. I don't think it's anything crazy impressive. I've never tried to play it, but like it's a better solo than what I just mentioned in Low a few songs ago. Um, it's just this is a really good song, and I'm gonna keep saying that throughout the rest of this video. So let's go ahead and go on to song 46, and it's Coloratura, which is maybe the most unique, probably not the most unique, but one of the most unique songs Coldplay's ever done. And I've been a big fan of this song since it first came out, and it surprised me that it fell this low. Not that this is super, super low, but I thought it might be maybe the next episode, which is not significantly higher, but like again, it might be somewhere around 8 to 12 spots, 15 spots even, it could still be next episode. So to me, um, the reason why it fell at this spot is I don't feel like the song itself is too long, because if I felt like it was too long, would have ranked it a couple episodes ago. But what I think it is, I think some of the sections are a little bit too long, and so like if I'm just listening to it passively, I don't feel like it's 10 minutes. I feel like it's like 7 or 6, like, which is a compliment. But when I'm listening to it with a critical ear, trying to rank these songs, I feel the time. And a lot of that is just because um, it has, to me, it has maybe like the first section maybe is the one that's too long. I don't know because it is a minute 45 before we get lyrics, which is okay. It's not too bad. Um, but then you got like the in the first chorus is hitting at like 240. So again, in a 10-minute song, that's like okay, we're making good time. Um, and it just feels like you're at 4 minutes is the second chorus. You're like, oh, okay. Um, and then you have this like instrumental section, and you have the third chorus at 7 minutes. And that's where I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Like some of this stuff just needs to be tightened up a little bit, I think. And I'd have to go through and like see how many measures of each little like melodic section they're doing and to really be like to I'd have to hyper fixate on like okay, you could cut out one measure of this and two measures of that and one measure of this, and it wouldn't be anything crazy, it'd just be a little bit, several spots that I think could cut maybe like 2 minutes out of this song, and I think it would be better. But I just love what they do with it. I love in terms of like trying something really cool and really unique and having several like really interesting and really cool moments in my opinion. Um, in terms of the guitar, there's some really fun guitar stuff throughout the song. And it reminds me in some ways of the end of Viva La Vida, like even after the end of that last song. So I don't want to talk about that song too much because it's coming up at some point in time in the future. Um, but you have like a minute 15 at the end of this song of just like music, and you have Chris just kind of like vocalizing O's, and it puts a really great bow on Music of the Spheres as an album, and it makes me want to go back to the start of the album again, which is what the end of Viva La Vida does for me. And I think that like these might be the only two albums that musically do that. Other albums, I'm like, yeah, I want to hear it again. Like I do that a lot with Parachutes and with I have with Moon Music. But it's not because like musically it's setting me up perfectly to come back around, and I just want to go right back into it. And this is one of those. So that's a compliment I'll give it. But it has like 4 or 5 different sections, and I don't think you would. I wouldn't want to just delete a section. Like I enjoy all of them, so I would really would prefer it just to be a little bit tighter in a couple of the sections. Like there's at least one, if not two sections that I don't think you could touch. I don't think you could edit it without it like decreasing the value or decreasing the quality of the song. So it is a weird situation because it's just the idea of the song is going to be a huge like 8 to 10 minutes, 8 to 15 minute song, and they got it at 10. I think the song could be longer in terms of like if somebody less skilled was making it. Um, so not being hypercritical of it, just trying to explain why I have it here, but I do really really love it, and I always since this album first came out, it was one of my top songs on this album. So, I think it maybe had fallen a couple, maybe one or two spots, on the album itself, but still very much enjoy this song. So let's get into 45, and this is Moon Music, which I think, man, it might be my favorite opening song of any Coldplay album, which is saying a lot. I'm trying to think of like. I mean, I think this higher power opens music of the spheres, and that hasn't come on yet. Um, I haven't ranked that one yet. I mean, and then other than that, like I think I've already ranked other openers. Um, but like, and I don't mean like favorite in terms of like, oh, haven't ranked, like, oh, um, r- I rank this song higher than Higher Power. Like, I haven't ranked Higher Power yet, and I haven't ranked Politic yet, which is the first song on Rush Blood to the Head. So I think this is the third highest ranking opening song on my rankings, but that's not really what I'm talking about in terms of that. I just mean like when I put in this album and this first song comes on, I'm just like literally like start just like I get goosebumps. I get like occasionally I'll get like a little misty eyed on this song, like, and I don't know what it is. If that sounds insane to you, I get it. Like I this song just for some reason hits really well. The first minute or so, minute and a half, which is like the strings in the synth, reminds me of Sunrise from Everyday Life. That's part of why I ranked that one so not I mean, I wouldn't say it was so low, but I really liked that one when it first came out. And then this came out and kind of was like, oh, this is what I really would like that song to be more like. Because has the pretty string stuff, but then also goes into the really quiet piano melody and has Chris in it singing at some point. And I'm like, I think Coldplay albums need to start off either with a arena like banger, like Head Full of Dreams, right? Even Hearts Like Heaven is kind of like that. It needs to be like that, higher power, right? It needs to be like that, like we're gonna all be jumping off out of our seats and dancing around, and the lights are going crazy on the wristbands. Or it needs to be like this, which is just like all the emotions. It really like somehow it just really like opens you up and gets you ready for this album. And man, I don't know. I love it. I love the lyrics and it's a simple lyrics, but are like thought provoking. And it's to me, it's a really good combination of like the smart lyrics of like Viva La Vida album stuff and the first three albums or four albums, first two albums, and then Viva La Vida. I think lyrically are they're like some of their strongest albums. Um, and then, but it also balances like the messaging of some of the more cheesy songs. Like if you're a big Coldplay fan, you know that like the theme and the message of like most of their stuff is like love humans, like love each other. We should just all get along and love each other and be kind and like accept others and like, all that stuff. Like that's kind of like their big thematic push to me in terms of like their average song. And like that can come across as cheesy a lot of times. It's easy to write those songs, but it's also easy for those songs to be cheesy, in my opinion, from what I've experienced in terms of what I've heard. It's hard to write like interesting lyrical songs that are just about like just be nice to people, man. Like just love each other. What are you doing? Um, and this kind of does that because it sets the singer as like I'm trying to be like this and I'm struggling, and it just makes it seem so real. And I just love that. Like that's part of the emotion for me behind it is like that is so relatable of the whole like I'm not perfect. I really want to be kind. I want to love people and be loved. That's a goal for it should be a goal for I'm sure it's a goal for the vast majority of people. But we struggle. We're humans and we mess up and we don't always get everything right. And we hurt people on accident and we get hurt on accident and it makes it harder. And that, like, I'm trying and and I just need someone to help me. And the last line of I just need a friend is just like, it is so good. And I think this song would be maybe 20 spots higher. That might be a little bit dramatic, if not for the ending. I think that and to me, some people like I know my friend Alex, hi, shout out, uh, hates the ending, hates like the way that it flows into feels like I'm falling in love. I don't hate that. I just feel like it detracts from this song because I'm focusing on this song, and now it's like telling me, hey, guess what? Forget forget this song. We got feels like falling in love coming next. Um, and I just wish it was like because other Coldplay songs have had smooth transitions, but this is not a smooth transition. This is a smooth transition that starts at the end of this song. So there are other songs. I'm trying to explain it a little bit better. I'm not sure if I did a good job on that, but there are other songs where like at the 0 minute 0 second mark of song four, it flows perfectly at into the 1 second mark of track five or whatever, like that in space in between, like that half second or maybe full second, depending on your loading time on Spotify or Apple Music, is the only gap in the two songs flowing together. That's not what's happening here, though, because it starts with 30 seconds or something, maybe 15 seconds, about 17 or 18 seconds, somewhere around there. Um, yeah, I would say about 20 to 18 seconds is when it starts to come into the feels like. Um, and so it starts to come in and you're like, oh, here we go, we're going to the next song. But there's still like 15 seconds left. So it just takes away a little bit. It's a small ding I'd put on this otherwise absolutely gorgeous song. Wouldn't shock me if, when Coldplay is done making new music and I re-rank all these songs, this ends up being higher. Would not shock me. Let's get to 44. This is What If, and this is a song that I love. I do love. I think it is a little bit cheesy, but a part of why I could not help it, like I wanted to rank this lower. I wanted to, trust me, because I wanted to put new music higher. And there's something else, 42, I think. I wanted to put those higher. The harmony in this song, man. The harmony in this song just gets me every time, and I cannot help but sing along with Guy's harmony line. Not Guy, Will's harmony line, Will Champion's harmony lines. Um, and it just to build up to the chorus really like calmly with a back-to-back verse, and just the piano pretty much and Chris, and then the guitar comes in with a little and then the chorus hits. It's a really fun way to build up to this chorus, and you immediately have the two-part harmony at the first note of the chorus, I believe, first note of the chorus. So it's like really quiet, just mellow Chris Martin piano, two verses, and then it's like bang, here's the song. We're all in here. And it leads in with that little like two or three note guitar riff that's really, really good. And then when it it is a quick, I like this because other songs, like other similar songs, do like a little instrumental interlude for a measure or something, before going into the next verse, and this song goes immediately into the next verse. There's like a beat of like take a breath, we're going to the next verse. And it keeps that momentum really well to me. Instead of like if they took time to do a little instrumental, it might bring the vibe. Maybe the vibe is the wrong word, but like it would bring the momentum down a little bit. And so, really fun that they are able to do that. And you get the harmony at the second part of the second half of the verse, of the second verse, which again helps build it. Um, and then you get into chorus two, which is really great. And then you have back-to-back choruses to end the song. And although I think the verses are kind of cheesy, I don't think the chorus is that cheesy. Which is funny because like the chorus is like what's the chorus line? Like, that's right. Because it's called What If, but What If is like only mentioned in the verses, which is interesting. And I think maybe even only on the first two verse. No, it must be in the third verse too. There's just no way, right? Um, no, maybe it is. No, there is one time. What if you should decide that you don't want me there in your life? That's the second verse. That's where the harmony comes in the third verse. I'm sorry. That's where the harmony comes in that verse. So you do get one what if in the third verse, but other than that, there's not that line's not even in the song after the second verse, which is before the first chorus. So it's pretty early. But um, yeah, I don't have a ton to say about this song. It is, I think, um, some people might have it higher because it is. I do believe it was like a radio hit at one point, but it is a strong song that the craft in writing the dynamics of the song push it higher for me, and the harmony, man. They have some stuff with harmony we're gonna talk about, but when it's when it's Chris and Guy. I keep saying Guy, Chris and Will, doing their harmonies, and and they do a couple different things where sometimes Will will be the high harmony, and other times he'll be the low harmony. And this one he's the high harmony. Um, no, he's not the high harmony, but he's like a higher, but not as high as Chris, because Chris is in his falsetto. I don't know. I'm not at some point I'm like I'm missing because I don't have some impeccable music knowledge and music theory background, but um, I enjoy their harmony. So 43 is going to be yes, and basically a two for one. Again, yes from Viva La Vida or Death and All of His Friends. And you have this song, which again, super interesting lyrics about like temptation and thematically feels like what I always think of, honestly, I think of David and Bathsheba, um, and and from the Bible, and that might just be me, but it also like talks about Lord, lead me not into temptation. There's a line, sin, stay gone. Um, God knows I'm trying my best. And like basically like the people realize that this person has committed some sin or something and they're gonna throw him out the window and like, kill him basically. Which like you can imagine could have happened if David had been found out or something and he wasn't the king. I don't know. Um, and just like, and also, I don't know this for a fact, but it feels like perhaps one of his lowest, Chris Martin's lowest notes ever sung. The beginning of this is so low, and I love it because when he comes in, with like the chorus, is it the chorus or I think the chorus he says low. Um, I'm trying to get to it. Yeah, he says low in the first chorus. And then the third verse, he comes in full voice high, and it hits so hard. It's so good. And there's the guitar in it is like feels really like I don't know if it's sliding or just a lot of like vibrato with his hands, but it's like really shaky and like the tone of it is like really. It feels like it isn't even a guitar. It feels like it could be like some kind of a other stringed instrument, not a violin, but kind of violin-esque. There are some stringed instruments in the background, but I mean specifically the guitar tone is just really unique for Johnny there, and just a really strong song to me. And then also you get this like I want to say they call it a Chinese sleep chant. I need to Google that, but it's a song at the end, um, and it's not mentioned on the main album, but um. and it's really cool. Um, trying to Google and talk at the same time. So, it is the second half Chinese sleep chant. I'm not sure if I said that right or if I said that. I said something similar to that. I may have said exactly that. I don't remember. But yes, it's called Chinese sleep chant because if you look at the lyrics, he's saying fall asleep is what they're saying fall asleep, and then sleep and you'll be satisfied. Sleep and you'll be satisfied are the lyrics for most of the song, not all of the song, but that last 3.5 minutes. And that's just a really fun, like, I mean, I wouldn't say fun, but a really good song. Um, and it reminds me of the Rainbow Emoji song from Moon Music in terms of the fact that like it's kind of hard to hear what they're saying, and it's just like really high, like harmonies and falsettos, a lot of reverb. The guitar is kind of just like droning everything out, and it's just more of a vibes song. Um, and the vibes are good, so I like that song a lot. And it's so that they're together and they work fine together to me. It feels like two different songs, but like I'm not going to rank them separate, even though they're both like 3.5 minute songs. I don't know how to, I'm not sure how to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it as one track. So that's what's going to be 43. Number 42, talked about harmony a minute ago. We're going to get into heart, which I'm probably going to call human heart or just heart, heart emoji. I don't know. Um, I adore this song. I love it. When it first came out, I was a huge fan of it. I still am. Um, I have it pretty high on the album. I think third. Yeah, I have it third on the album. And I was surprised to see it fall here. And I think part of it is that it is ultimately pretty simple in terms of it's just it's just like singing. And there's some effects on their voices, but like there's not a whole lot else going on. And it's like who's credited is Coldplay, this group called We Are King, and Jacob Collier, and it feels like it's Chris Martin, We Are King, and Jacob Collier. And I think that's part of my problem with We Pray that I ranked a long time ago is that like I really enjoy the song, I really like the song, I really love the song, and in certain situations I like adore the song. And I think this is a good bit better than We Pray. But um they fit in the album just fine, but in isolation they don't feel as much like Coldplay songs as a lot of other stuff. So when I am listening to the group of songs that I'm trying to rank and I'm hearing songs that have like a lot of guitar and have Will Champion singing the harmony parts, and I'm like, yeah, this is Coldplay, this is Coldplay. And then I hear something like this, and I'm like, this is beautiful. It's musically like in terms of like the theory behind it and the writing behind it, like it's Jacob Collier and Chris Martin. I'm sure it's genius. A lot of the harmonies are really cool and really fun and really pretty. It's just like, is it? Some part of me is like, I wish it was more Coldplay. Um, and so like the reason why I'm some of these songs I'm not even mentioning negatives at all because I don't really have any negatives. It's just where it fell on my ranking. And this song I have some negatives, but like without those negatives, this song would probably be top 20. You know what I mean? Like top 25. Somewhere in the somewhere below 30, I think. Pretty easily, if not even if not significantly higher, like top 20, top 10. Because what I love about it, I love. And I think that if there's a version of this song that had like was like longer and had like maybe like a more traditional Coldplay musical structure in terms of having like maybe a little bit of guitar or piano or I don't know, something. I don't think piano would fit here, but like maybe like keyboards, some synthy stuff, and some guitar swells like you have on a couple of the Moon Music songs. You could really, I think, bring more of the band in. Even if it's just like a little bit of guitar from Johnny and maybe like add Will to the harmony. Maybe Will's in there. I cannot hear him. Um, that I think would go a long way for me. And so it might be kind of weird, but I think this is an amazing song. I think it's an incredible song. I think that there are probably people that have it significantly higher. I'm sure my sister has it very, very high. And so she will probably be sad if she sees this, but this is where I'm gonna have it for now. Okay, last one for the episode is 41 Talk. And this is a really good song that I think is almost kind of underrated. Like when you look back on their early stuff, the first three or four albums, and like what made the radio, and I think this did. Um, but it gets so quickly forgotten amongst like, Yellow and Sparks and The Scientist and Clocks and In My Place and Viva La Vida, like Lost, and even on this album you have Fix You and Speed of Sound. And it's very easy to forget this song. And I think it's really good. I love just like the constant synth in the background, kind of like playing the chords. Like a lot of times on this album, they have a lot of synth, but they don't always follow the chords. Sometimes it's just like an underlying like synth tone on like the whatever key it is. If it's G, just playing G. Um, and this one, the synth does follow the chord progression, so it frees up other instruments to be more dynamic. And the guitar is a little bit more dynamic, I think, because of that. Maybe it's not because of that, but it feels like it could be connected. Um, like it just frees them up to do other things. The drums are pretty simple in the beginning and build really well to the first chorus. Um, and the guitar tone on the chorus with where he plays the rhythm line, the and then the driving rhythm line into the da na na da na da na na na, like that little run, and then back into the like it's probably either power chords or just like triads like higher up on the neck. I guess it's lower down on the neck. I always say higher as being closer to the body, and I don't think it's actually what like the vast majority of people say. Um, so. Anyways, really good song from the guitar perspective and from Chris's perspective. And it's like also I think it is one of those that like the idea of what the content of the lyrics are supposed to be about and kind of like the idea behind that I think could very easily be very, very cheesy, and it's not at all, I don't think. Like not even a little bit. And maybe someone else would disagree, that's fine, but like it's more just like, hey, like, we need each other. So we should be talking to each other. And if we don't, it's not gonna work out. And sometimes, I feel like I can't get through to you and I can't talk to you and you can't talk to me, but like we need to. And yeah, I feel like that is an important message in relationships. Um, but also like could easily, like I said, be very, very cheesy and is not. Um, and so I can see someone having the song lower, but I do really like it. And it is one that I think is going flies a little bit under the radar when people talk about their early hits. So but I think with that, we're done. We're at the end of our rope here for ranking Coldplay 50 to 41. So look forward to 40 to 31 next week, getting Reggie Miller's Coldplay song in there. Trying to keep these cranked out once a week. I'm recording this the week before, like the Sunday before it will be coming out. So I have a little bit of a head start, but not anything significant. So if I get a little bit busy, then we'll see. We'll see what happens. But for now, I've been able to keep up the tracks, keep up the rhythm. So again, if there's something you want me to do next, I'm considering a couple different things. I do have two different ideas that I'm thinking about. One of them would be a daunting undertaking, and one of them would be a little more manageable. So there's a chance that I'm going to go with the more manageable one. But um, yeah, let me know if there's a singer, songwriter, band that you think I should rank and talk about after I finish Coldplay. Otherwise, look forward to more videos about Coldplay songs coming up next week, and I will see you guys when we get there on Sunday at midnight, bright and early. Wake up, get some coffee, and listen to me rant about some random Coldplay songs.